we entered into this pitch competition in school, and there was a Q&A at the end of our pitch, and this nice gentleman stood up in the back, and he was the retail expert because he was the buyer at Barney's, which is a fancy department store in New York City, and he was deemed to be the retail expert in the room. And he stood up in front of everybody, and he said, "I'm sorry, but no woman is ever going to put that ugly piece of plastic on her high heel." And literally the room was dead quiet. And I think Monica and I both were just like shocked. It was very hurtful and disappointing to hear that, but it was sort of the beginning of being an entrepreneur, because as an entrepreneur, it's not a matter of if, it's when you will face rejection or, criticism or things like that. And honestly, we bring that up as like the first kind of rejection, but it actually fueled us, I would say, because we were so passionate about bringing this solution to market because we needed it, and we knew that all of our friends needed it. And so we filed that feeling from that guy away, and we just sort of used it as fuel to further our passion to make our product a reality. I think that the Shark Tank experience was probably the most magnified in terms of like the emotions. And even though, and I'm sure we're going to get into the specifics, but in our episode, Lori was the first shark to back out. And she said, "Great product, but I don't think enough women wear high heels, so I'm out." And honestly, at the time on the carpet, with all the energy that had gone into that experience, it was a little hard to accept that, because I kind of expected that, she would be excited about it as a woman herself who wears high heels.
All the time.
And it was certainly disappointing, but I think that I was mostly just a little like surprised at her comments, but we quickly rebounded because we ended up getting 2 offers and accepted 1. But I think that in that moment, I would say that was probably the most like emotionally charged rejection that I had during our company's experience. As fans and viewers of the show for many years, you know that the sharks are going to try to make it an uncomfortable tank experience. So they're going to ask questions over one another and try to make it chaotic. So the best that you can do to prepare for that is to simulate that. And so we would just have these rapid fire sessions, and it was really fun. But the other thing is, it also teaches you, yes, to be able to think on your feet, but to have the presence of mind to listen to the question and maybe take that microsecond and respond in a thoughtful way. Because sometimes if you respond too quickly, it brings a lot of emotion in that response, and that's not always a good thing. Sometimes you don't want a lot of emotion in a response. You just want to, kind of be really calm and cool and collected. Staying organized, literally like knowing what your follow-up has been and when you've done it and what you've done, because that's going to help you just sort of have a timeline. Okay, I haven't heard from them in a couple of weeks, I'm going to reach out. So just organization is number 1. Second is being able to go back to those confidence builders. So, okay, this isn't going my way. What else can I do to maintain my excitement, my passion? Like, let me focus on adding more boutiques. Let me go to a bridal show. Like, let me have good customer interaction. Let me, continue to build off of my confidence. And then third, I would say, and I really give credit Monica a lot, is just be creative about how you're going to reapproach the situation or the person. Because honestly, like sending the same email to this person every 2 weeks is not going to get them to respond, because, that's just like a lazy way of following up. Like, I think you have to be thoughtful about, if I want this person's attention, how am I going to get it? And maybe that's reading an article that's about their store or something in the industry, or doing something out of the ordinary like flowers, or, if there's an event coming up, sending something, best wishes for whatever the event is or birthday. Being different, being creative, standing out, because these buyers, and you could say the same thing about the media people, they're getting bombarded with things all the time. And so if you can stand out, that's just going to help you. Even if they say no, like, oh, we don't have any openings right now, still, that's going to help you build that relationship with them. this may be a generalization, but I think for the most part, people that are on LinkedIn are sort of accustomed to professional relationship building and things like that. So this has happened to me many times. I reach out to a mutual connection that I may not even know. Like we might be connected, but I may not know them. But if I say, hey, I'm trying to connect with so-and-so, I see that you worked with them, would you be willing to give me an introduction? 9 out of 10 times it's worked for me. Most weddings have an outdoor component, and most women are going to be wearing heels at a wedding. And so we thought for sure David's Bridal is our perfect retail partner. And we tried everything to get their attention. We literally drove to Pennsylvania. We brought them flowers. We brought them candies. We sent them letters. Never heard anything. And if we did, it was like, oh, thank you. It was from, an administrator being like, oh, thanks, we're not interested. And it was actually really painful because this lasted for probably a year and a half, that we were just relentlessly trying to reach the right person. And we knew that this would be a hit with their customers, but they were just not interested at that point. And I don't know how much of that was, maybe there was some buyer turnover. And that's the other thing, you sort of don't know what's going on inside the retailer. So what feels like a big rejection might just be internal noise or something. But it was very, very difficult. Look, there are going to be a lot of ups and downs, but there will be many more ups and downs. And you just have to persevere during those down cycles, stay focused, believe in yourself, and everything will work out. And I believe in that.